Hello, everybody. So, this is a different format entirely. This is a long form video. I'm not really used to doing long form, but I wanted to talk about something interesting. I wanted to talk about specifically drawing the same thing over and over again and the benefits of drawing the same thing over and over again. Um, I really think that's an interesting concept and I would like to discuss that on a long form video. There's not going to be any drawing on this. This is just purely discussion. But there's something that I noticed when I started drawing the same eye over and over again. I started seeing different things that I couldn't see before, and I started being able to do stuff that I couldn't do before. And I used the same medium and the same eye, and I drew it over and over again. That repetition, that repetitious action, that singular repetitious action, really became something really nice over time. But I started noticing all these things that I didn't notice before. Like what the medium, how the medium reacted on the paper with the medium that I was using. Like how did it react on the paper? How did it activate on the paper too? And I started noticing all these different things. I'm like, oh, okay. So this action gets me this result, and it's because I'm freeing up my mind from the worry of what to draw. Excuse me, from the worry of what to draw by focusing purely on the process, and repetitious repeating the same process over and over again really helped me um improve in that way because of that repetition that's there. And I got to see a bunch of stuff that I did not see before. And sorry, my cat has rudely, you can hear her purring probably. She has rudely interrupted me. But what I wanted to talk about is the my brain just stopped working. I'm sorry. I wanted to talk about drawing something over and over again. That's right. So we'll go back to that after that momentary distraction. Drawing the same thing over and over again. It's really interesting because if you suffer from creative block, that creative block can be really helped because drawing the same thing over and over again reduces that decision fatigue, which reduces the it reduces the chance of not drawing, and it also helps get your mind flowing as well. It helps your mind to just start the process. Because art is a process, and you can only get the final result by going through the process. And you really shouldn't love the final result. You should love the process. Because if you love the final result, you will love no, you will not love the process if you love the final result. You need to love the process because if you love the process, you'll love the final result, regardless of if it's good or bad. That won't matter, and that's why I like drawing the same thing over and over again because it really gets you acclimated to the process of drawing. It's really interesting, and this is not like the setup that I have for this long form content is not very complicated. It's just me and a camera on OBS, and I'm just talking. Excuse me. I'm not really doing anything. There's no background, no nothing, because it's just the process of I just talking about the process. But what's interesting is as I drew the same thing over and over and over and over, I found that it it became more fluid. Like the learning process became way easier. There's a lot less struggle in the process of learning because I started seeing things and gaining new skills very quickly. And drawing the same thing over and over has really changed the way that I draw. I used to like to draw everything out of my head. I think that's important that you do that, yes. But drawing the same thing over and over again really helps you in your technique a lot. And it also if you're going through a block and you're going through a really bad creative block and you just don't know what to draw, you can result to that subject that you picked. For me, it's eyes. I like to draw eyes a lot. Um, I draw eyes all the time. They're just fun to draw, and I find that they're actually pretty challenging because you can draw an eye, but to make it look good is another thing, right? You can draw an eye and it look bad, but if you draw an eye over and over again, you start making it look better and better and better. And eyes are really hard because it's a likeness of the face. So by trying to recreate that likeness of the face, that's how it's really easy to mess it up because we're very sensitive to faces and all the details on the faces because we talk to people every day, and we see people every day and all that. But it's really really important to to find something you enjoy drawing and just draw that same thing over and over, and you'll start to notice something. So a shift will start happening in your perception of drawing, and it's a brilliant shift. I really enjoyed. I know that sounds crazy, but I really enjoy drawing the same thing over and over because it taught me new things every time I drew that same thing over and over. I kept learning stuff I didn't even notice before with each failed drawing, and it was very interesting to see the growth, and I could actually see the growth visibly. Whereas if I just drew random things, I would not necessarily be able to see that growth. Like I wouldn't be able to see because your knowledge of each subject matter is different. The process of how to draw is the same, but your knowledge of each subject matter is completely different. So I would say finding that one subject that I really, really enjoy drawing over and over and over is a great way to learn, a great way to study art because it reduces that decision making process, and it simplifies it into a very finite point. And I have my sketchbook right here. Now you guys can't see it because this is just a practice recording. Um, I don't have like any really good camera equipment, so unfortunately I cannot show you my sketchbook right now. But I have a phone, and I literally just record shorts with my phone. And that's what I do. I draw and I record shorts with my phone. Um, but what I like to do is make a new page in my sketchbook and just draw an eye and just draw the eyes in my sketchbook over and over, and I can see the improvement over time. And the cool thing about doing this is over time, I can look through the pages and see the improvement. So like, I started with colored pencils. I really like dry mediums instead of wet mediums, but I started with colored pencils, and it's really interesting looking at my first colored pencil drawing. The value range was awful because I've never used colored pencils. I don't know how they react on the surface of the work, and I don't know how they activate on the surface. The reaction and the activation is very important of a medium concerning your medium that you use. How does it react with the ink or whatever that's already on your page? How does it react with the graphite that's there already, and how does it activate? How does it lay itself on the page? You know what I mean? That kind of stuff is very important, especially if you want to be good at shading and stuff. But it's really interesting. I start seeing the improvement more, and I start to notice where I'm weaker and where I'm stronger. Especially if I try a new medium. And my two primary mediums right now are pen and ink, so like ballpoint, and other pens, and graphite. So I use Pigma microns, and I use just a regular ballpoint for the inking stuff. And then for graphite, I just use a Faber-Castell, a really basic Faber-Castell pencil, 6B preferably. I prefer the darker ones because it doesn't require as much effort to get a dark tone. Now, if you're heavy-handed, that might be a challenge to get used to. I would say use an HB if you're too heavy-handed. But yeah, um, Anyway, I think I'm gonna call it. We're pretty much out of time now, and I'll see you in the next long form video. This is something that I'm very new at. I'm very new at talking to the camera, so I might stutter a lot and all that. So forgive me as I get used to the process. I'll see you guys later.